What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. All right, guys, in the spirit of reducing SPS inflation, I have another, I don't know if it's controversial, but definitely dramatic idea that I'd like to share with you guys, and that is I think that DEC should not be transferable either. I've been saying this for a while. In fact, you could probably find videos a year or so ago of me talking about this, saying that, SPS should really be the token that is tradable across all different, tradable and bridgeable across all different types of chains. But DEC serves no purpose outside of the game, right? I mean, there's nothing that you can do with it. There's not even LPs that will provide any kind of value in the long run. So if people want to bring value into Splinterlands, the easiest thing that you can do is buy SPS, bring it in game, and then ideally burn it for DEC. Now, granted, there's one hiccup. If DEC is well below peg and you come in and burn it, well, then you're kind of losing out. So we still need a DEC SPS liquidity pool. But in the spirit of us adding more liquidity pools in game, right? First you had the DEC grain LP. Now we're going to get the DEC voucher LP. I think the DEC SPS LP should be in game as well. Now, the other added reason for that is the fact that if new players come into the game and let's say they participate, they use some credits, they play in a tournament, or they get some SPS for whatever reason, they have to figure out how to bridge their stuff and get it out to Hive Engine, create a Hive Engine account, or just log into their Hive Engine account and then trade SPS. Right? If they don't have any idea of how DeFi works, of how swaps work, it's an added, for people that are just coming to game, it's an added thing to go to another website, especially when you hear about all the scams and crypto and all that. We should be having everything in game. The voucher DEC's LP is in game. I think the SPS DEC LP should be in game as well. So my thought process is we follow the exact same playbook that we did for vouchers, where DEC all of a sudden is no longer transferable out into Hive Engine or to BNB or to Ethereum, right? There's just no need. People can transfer it in, that's fine, but really, and this also provides less of a liability in terms of like a bridge hack. If we just have less DEC floating around in other parts of the ecosystem or on other chains, right? Ethereum and BNB right now are the ones that I'm looking at, and of course, there's stuff on the Hive chain as well. But since it doesn't serve any purpose out in any of those other chains or on Hive Engine, we should just get it here. Now, granted, there's some LPs out in Hive Engine that require DEC, right? I'm even looking at, for example, the stablecoin LPs for like GLX, right? Or some other games that have tried to do some kind of liquidity pair with DEC. Those would be impacted. But at this point, we have to think about what is best for the game Splinterlands itself. And therefore, bringing those all in-house, making it easier for new players, reducing bridge hacks, and then the final benefit is that you get to turn off the DEC SPS LP as well as the DEC swap.hive, right? We still have the SPS swap.hive, so if people want to bring things out and convert it into Hive, well then you swap it from DEC into SPS in-game, you bridge your SPS out, and then you swap that for swap.hive. Does that add an extra step? Are there more fees involved? Yes, there are, but it makes people much more intentional about how they're going to exchange their currencies, right? You're only going to do it if it makes sense. Now, the DEC swap.hive LP is only at a 9% APR, 9.4, and the DEC SPS is at 14.8%. So I know that there might be investors out there, right? There's probably almost $500,000 worth of liquidity that's in there that would be impacted. And no, this isn't me being bitter about the fact that the SPS ETH LP got turned off, but I am inspired by it, right? I'm inspired by the fact that if it wasn't providing any value, then and it was just an SPS, faucet that wasn't really doing much, well then we shouldn't be paying out for it, right? So I took that hit, and it's fine. I'm not bitter about it. I'm only bringing it up because I know other people might talk about it. Like I said, I'm inspired by it, and I'm looking for ways in which we can reduce inflation further. And by taking away the DEC swap.hive LP and then taking away the DEC SPS LP, we are able to reduce inflation even further. And then, not only that, we take the DEC SPS LP and bring it in-house, and you have people provide liquidity here, but instead of it paying SPS out, it pays DEC, it burns some DEC, right? So ultimately, all of these transactions become something that is a net negative, right? And I mean that in a good way, right? Like a net negative for the ecosystem, meaning that it's burning DEC anytime people want to transfer, or, not transfer, but, trade tokens. So ultimately, that's my thought process. I'm just trying to look ahead and think of ways in which we can A, make the game easier, B, reduce risk, and C, improve the game economy overall. And from a liquidity pool perspective, this seems like the next best step, right? Keep the SPS BNB pool, keep the SPS swap.high pool, and maybe add in, SPS and Matic, or SPS and Base, right? SPS and Arbitrum, whichever ones we end up, or Solana, right? Whichever ones we end up bridging to in the future. But for right now, DEC does not make any sense in terms of having it, just kind of floating around elsewhere. If anything, it makes it easier for whales to play games on whales to play whale games on other chains, right? Just with massive amounts of DEC. So we've already removed a lot of the incentive. If over time we slowly get people to bring that in game and eventually burn it, well, now all of a sudden people can't be playing games with DEC outside of Hive and outside of the game. It's just going to be something that's in game, and it's an in-game currency. That's the only place that it has value. I know this, and I'll caveat this with one thing. Matt has talked about the fact that, it'd be cool if other games were to use DEC here and there. So we already have tower defense, which requires DEC. And I think that there could be special things, special, I don't know, assistance made to be able to bridge it to other games specifically, right? Because what I'm talking about is like completely dramatic. We're shutting everything down. So you wouldn't be able to necessarily transfer it from, here to Hive Engine. Although I believe tower defense, or soul keep, I should say, is integrated with Splinterlands enough where all that stuff, it's looking at your balance in game rather than your balance on Hive Engine. But if there were other games in the future that wanted to use or utilize Splinterlands tokens, right, namely DEC and SPS, that would be where we would take a potential hit. But I don't see any other games participating in this right now. And if they wanted to, let them do it with SPS, right? DEC just isn't needed. It's in-game. It's a token that we use in-game. If people want to require SPS, like that is the governance token. That is the one that is truly finite, right? As long as we don't decide to print anymore. But it's truly finite, and that's the one that everybody should be using and trying to drive as much value to, directly and indirectly. So that is all I have for you guys in this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll catch you all in the next one and see you around the game. Take care.